I'm going to be talking about bringing Google Earth Engine into into map making. And how many folks currently use Google Earth Engine? Cool. All right. So if you don't, it's worth probably going if you're interested in it. It's free, and you can just sign up. They manually approve the signups now, so it may take a couple of days. It's a cloud-based platform that Google provides, where they've basically sucked up a ton of data sets and have them stored on their servers, and then they provide you a platform to be able to access them. So this just gives you a feel for the kinds of data sets that are available to access through Earth Engine, constantly being updated. So then you can interact with it using this UI that has essentially a little JavaScript code editor here, a map where you can really quickly kind of see your results, has a little print console and task thing over there, and then you've got your catalog over here with some docs built in. So I thought this was going to potentially be a great resource for teaching. So I was interested. I learned about this about a year and a half ago. I thought it looked great. The only problem I could see is that I'd never really coded before, but none of my students really had either. So I figured they wouldn't notice, and I could just figure it out. So I'm now teaching this course. I put a lot of tutorials and other stuff for basically non-coders here. So that's the link to it. And if you go here, you'll eventually, as this kind of loads up, you'll see that there's a really nice hotel room that you can access there. That's going to be too bad. Thank you. And so this is where, sorry guys, I'm going to keep it short otherwise. Yeah. So I'm going to turn my Wi-Fi off and then turn it back on. So can I just connect and let it refresh? No, I want Murano gas day. Or is that's fair enough, right? Or in the Hotel Murano. Hotel Murano. Yeah. That guy. Reload. Sorry, folks. I just flew in last night from Vermont, so it's okay. So let me hit refresh at this point. So this is the one drag with using a cloud-based platform, is you kind of need this to be able to roll. So I'm going to go here. I'm also at the point where I'm going to Wild Palms. That's where I was the other week, but this is no longer Wild Palms, so I'll do Murano VIP. I know. Let's see. And I promise I won't shut my laptop for the rest of the... Okay. That looks just like all of us. So I will see how this goes. Anyway, if this opens up, you'll see there's a bunch of labs here, some practice problems, the exam that I'm giving them on Friday, if you guys want to help them out on that. And then, so here's the idea. So this is just from Alex Tate from the Bach. This is how you know I'm a professor, because here's the framework for map design, and then what I mostly want to talk about is how you can use it here to kind of collect and process data. So here I'm just going to give a couple examples for terrain mapping. By looking at the schedule, it looked like a lot of us were talking about terrain today. So here's kind of typical data wrangling problems that I tend to want to do, especially if I'm moving from a GIS to something like Photoshop or even something like Blender. This is like Nick hinted at this, that he has a GitHub for doing this in Blender, but these are kind of similar tiles, including the last one where in order to use Photoshop, you need to get everything to line up pixel by pixel and so forth. And then if these are wrangling problems, I didn't know if maybe that's like, this is problems with the ranch, like the costs of the software, especially if I'm teaching. I don't really like to teach stuff to students that they're not going to be able to use after they graduate. So what I like about Earth Engine is that the cost is right. And then there's the limits of my laptop. I don't really like to go through boot camp every time I want to go to a GIS if I'm using a Mac. And I only have so much memory and I only have so much processing and storage. And so I'm limited by this. And I also like to kind of don't want to leave my laptop open the whole time it's running. So I have a little simple repository that's at this this bit.ly that if you're in, if you've already signed up, you can go here, and we'll see how this runs. And this just gets you a flavor for what it's like to work in this thing. So eventually you should get a few. This is when I should do my prayer to the demo gods that this will actually work. And I may have asked too late. And so the basic idea is you run it, you load up your script, and what I've done is just drawn a little rectangle around where we are, and then you guys can read through the script. I've tried to comment it out, so if you guys do want to play along, it's pretty straightforward. You draw a region, you calculate your hill shade, come up with a dictionary for how to symbolize it, center the map on the geometry that you drew. You add the layer to the map and you clip it by the geometry. You mosaic the tiles so that you just got one thing. You set up a little dictionary for how you're going to export it, and you export it, and then over here, there's a task. It's all set up for you. If you hit run, you can then close your laptop, leave the cafe, leave the office, come back, open up your laptop, and it'll deposit this TIFF in your Google Drive. And then you can go, so that's what you get, and then it's pretty easy to just bring it into something like Photoshop. So the next one, typically another kind of route I'll go through is if you need to make a mask from something like the National Landcover data set. It's basically the similar kind of a process. You're just needing to reclassify the landcover, which should be in here someplace. Probably up here. I didn't get to the second one. There it is. And so it'll run through, and then it'll kick out the forest mask and the hill shade. So again, there's your hill shade. You get a mask that lines right up with it, and you can start working in Photoshop. So just provides a very simple way to do a lot of the data wrangling as you're going into something, if you want to do anything in a Photoshop or another kind of graphic software. So then the last one is if you want to take something like the National Landcover data set and just generalize it. It should run. This has got all three of them in it. And then you'll pick out, again, your third image so that when you go to Photoshop, everything should just align. And it just makes it an easier kind of workflow, I think. I just joined Twitter last month. So Jeff Howarth was taken, so I went with Jeff Geographer. But this is just where whenever I do a new tutorial for the class or this repository or the slideshow, I just try to share it through here and give you guys access to these things if you want to start using them. So thanks.